Good morning, all the champs. Hope you're doing all good and waiting for the lectures eagerly. And I'm also very eager, right? I know you guys are practicing very hard this time, so I do not want to hesitate in creating big, good, and some professional videos for you guys so that you can get benefited amid this 2019 COVID lockdown. So without wasting much of your time, we know that we have limited time and you also have limited time to download and watch all the lectures, right? So I really appreciate your efforts and may God bless you and be with you always and always and always. So let's get started and have a recap. What we did so far was we maintained or tried to maintain the session state or try to maintain the state of a page. And first we started with maintaining a state of a control, which is an HTML element, by using hidden types. And now we see we were able to do it. And I said that this is what we do, for maintaining the state of a particular page. Doesn't mean that it will maintain the state of the entire application. To maintain state of an application, we use sessions and we displayed the same inside calculate.jsp using sessions, right? So let me give you the overview again here. Right, so maintaining the state of a page, since HTTP is a stateless protocol, always remember it does not remember states, right? And we have to explicitly remember all the states, right? You can either use get parameters, we can use sessions, and we can use hidden types. And out of 3, we have already used 2. And I just gave you the overview why we are using MVC pattern, model view and controllers. So the MVC pattern is here for you, right? We have customer who doesn't know who the cook is, and the cook doesn't know who the customer is. Everyone is doing its own job, right? And including not only the business controller, but all the functions inside business controller were doing their own job without even peeping into others' job. That's what the sign of professionalism is, that everyone should do its own job without peeping into others. And that's what we should do in real life also. We should not peep into others. We should maintain and mind our own business, right? Okay, and then we said some of the famous MVC frameworks are as below, right? And then we move to sessions. Now we are here. Now what happens basically, right here. So for example, if I go to calculate.jsp and if I right click anywhere and I go to inspect element, right, and after going to inspect element, I go to the console, not to the console, but to the application and go to cookies. You can see the right, so the left hand side, we can see the sidebar here with all the cookies mentioned. I don't know what happens. Whenever I start the class, dogs come and they start barking. Maybe they do not want me to, record amid shutdown. They want me to be in quarantine 24/7 without even speaking a word. But that's not going to happen. So let them bark, and barking dogs seldom bite. So now you can see here, calculate.jsp has a session right here. And the session has an ID. So let me copy this ID, right? And let me put it somewhere here. Now this is the ID, client side ID. Let me decrease the font again. All right, so let me put the same ID here as well, right? Okay. Why, I'll tell you later, but yeah. Now see, JSession ID, if I delete this session and I refresh the page, you'll see the state of the page is lost. Right? Session is started, but the session does not have anything. Now it is going to work unless I go back to the page where we create the session, which is contact.jsp, and we create session 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. And if I go back then to calculate.jsp, we are going to have exact 60, the 60 we had in the previous page. But if I again delete it, right, the JSession ID, again we are going to get empty session. And what is happening here, right? So I'll give you the explanation. What happens that the session is created in the memory of the web server, right? And here we are talking of Apache Tomcat, right? So where do we have session? Session is created in the memory of the web server, all right? And it's created in the memory of the web server, right? And it is saved, right? When you go and deliver the response, right? So as a response, same ID is saved, right? Same ID is saved in the temporary memory of client, temp of client. So temp of the client computer. Okay, I'll write it back for you. Temp directory of the computer. Always remember this, right? So you can see it here. It's saved inside the temporary directory of the computer and the same session ID, right? So now session ID is saved as cookies. Session ID is saved inside the client computer TMP dir, right, as cookie, as cookie, and can be used for round trip communications, right? Round trip communications between server and client, right? So now it is saved as cookie. So first let me define what cookies are, because after that I'll also show you how do we write cookies directly, right? And let me show you what cookies are. Cookie is temporary piece of data saved inside or saved by the server inside the client computer, right, as text file, right, and is used for round trip authorization or state maintenance, right? So now if I log into, let's say about I'm logging into Facebook now. The moment I log into Facebook, Facebook may ask me about, Facebook will ask me about my credentials, as in provide the username and provide the password. So after I provide the username and password, I can maneuver and navigate between a page to page. I can navigate and maneuver between one page to another page to another page, right? I can go and comment on some other's wall, then to my father's wall, my sisters, my friends. So so it's the round trip communication taking place, because once I go from one place to another place, I need to be logged in, right? If I go to from that page previous previous to my back page, I need to be logged in. So that is called round trip communication. But do I have to provide the password again? Right? For example, if I log into page 1, now I'm going to page 2. So I don't have to provide. Facebook is in a state to remember who is logged in. Facebook has remembered the state of the person who has logged in, and that is where Facebook, Gmail, any website that you log into uses session for communication and authorization purposes. Or you can see all the websites. For example, if you go to Amazon and check few products, let's say you're checking some products under a specific category, and then what you find, all those products of the same category are displayed to you when you revisit Amazon. So that's again, they are using cookies, they are using sessions to remember your activities that you are doing inside their website, when you're on Amazon, when you're on Snapdeal, when you're any other website, to remember, in order to remember your activities, so that they can help you select better product, right? So that is again, there is a bit of machine learning or artificial intelligence algorithm behind it, but behind remembering, but the algorithm remains same behind displaying, right? Where do they store it? They store it in the temporary directory. For example, if you clear all the cache and delete all the history, so they may not show you the same product again. Why? Because they have lost the state which they used to have, or they saved inside your computer, right? So every website will, almost all the websites that ask for authorization will save something inside your computer, so that authorization happens. And also your computer will easily let websites save those files like cookies and sessions inside your temporary directory, so that the communication happens, right? So it's all because of communication, right? So communication, as I said, session is a two-way process. Session cannot be a one-way process. If I say, okay, let's have a session, then I'm talking to someone, right? I'm calling someone for a meeting. Let's have a meeting session. Let's have a counseling session. So I'm calling someone for the session. So I cannot create a session with myself, right? So it requires server, and server requires the client to do communication, right? So cookie is a temp, or we can write TEMPORARY, right? So cookie is temporary, or cookies, let me write it this way. Cookies are temporary piece of data saved by the server inside the client computer as a text file, and it's used for round-trip authorization and maintenance. What is round-trip authorization? Now, because the session has been saved, if I go to calculate.jsp, I get 61. If I take a round trip, I get still 61. So that means round-trip communication is happening. Now, how is this round-trip communication happening? Now, once the session is saved, right, you can see now client computer are right here with every single request. Right, I repeat, with every single request, HTTP header is going to take the same session and see whether that session matches as that of client. Now session is, I will write it down again here, right? So session is browser specific, right, and user agent specific, right? User agent is again the system architecture and the browser information, right? And it is the communication that takes place between the client who created it and the web server only. That means between the client who created it, not all the clients. For example, if you log into your Facebook account from home, now the session has been created. Will I be able to check your account from my home? No, I'll not be able to check your account from my home. Why? Because the communication has now started between your specific computer, your specific browser, and the web server. Right, so that is the only way that you can log in. Had there not been sessions, security would be a big question, right? So still there are some problems and there are some hacking techniques like privilege escalations and every single thing happening out in the industry. But yeah, you as a web developer has your duty cut out to secure them. Not only we will learn in the concurrent classes, not only we will learn how to create sessions, I promise I'll teach you how to create secure sessions, right? Complete web security. We will be creating anti-XSS, that is cross-site scripting websites, anti-session hijacking websites, anti-CSRF, that is cross-site request 4G websites, right? And single thing, it all depends on your will and your passion, right? If you do not show that interest, or if you're not working that hard, so showing that is going to be a bit hectic for me, right? So because your instructor may not be able, or may not be having that much of interest, may not have it can happen. We could have, but we could not have interest when you do not have, or we measure your performance and then we say, okay, no, it's not something that we are going to teach them. But yeah, let's keep the fingers crossed, and let's keep fingers crossed for you guys, because you all are champs, right? Okay, I repeat, session is the communication that takes between specific computer. What is user agent? Your information. It contains architecture, For example, if you are using x86, x86, which is 32-bit or 64-bit architecture. So that means it's between specific computer. That means you are specifically talking to server, right? Because session ID is saved inside. Now, if I log in, I'll get a different session ID. I'll not get a, because session ID is GUID. It's a globally unique identification number. So it is not going to be same with everyone. So every single one, for example, we have billions and billions of people logging into Facebook. So say about if 10 million people log in at the same time, will all 10 billion get single ID? Then there will be privilege escalations. We may jump into each other's profile. So that's not going to happen, right? We are not going to jump into each other's profile. We will maintain, and we always maintain our profile, and will not be able to peep into others' profile without having valid credentials such as username and password for them, right? So unless we don't have that, you have to understand this is specific between client and server. I repeat for the final time, you log in, a session is created between a client and a web server, right? And second time you don't log in only because when the client requests, with every request, the HTTP header takes the session ID and matches as that of the web server session ID. If they match, then you get the response. If you do not match, you get authorization response that it does not match, or username and password is incorrect, you may not be able to log in. So let us, without wasting much of your time, create the login panel here. Okay, let me write it here. With every client request, the session ID gets transferred to the server, right, using the HTTP request headers, right, and gets, or with every client request, the session ID gets transferred to the server using HTTP header, HTTP request headers, and will be, and gets, or we can say, and gets verified at the server end, right? Okay, so let me show you a practical example of these sessions. Okay, for that we'll still have to go back to our home page, which is login. So we know that login is happening. Fahim is there and password is there. Right, so now I want this to be remembered across the application, right? So let us see how we can achieve that. Okay, now I'll go back to my accounts controller, and that is the magic. Now see the magic of object-oriented programming, and see the magic of dividing everything and let others not peep into each other. So authorize is not peeping here, authentic is not peeping here, everyone is doing its own job. That's why we'll only edit one function. Authorize will now do, we'll say request, but wait a second, where do you find request? We have a problem here. Why? Because the request is available where? Request is available only here, right? So request is, if I type request here, it is available, request, request is available here, right? So let me show you a easy, let me show you one easy way. After that, I will show you another way. So non-professional way and then professional way, right? I'll show you both of them, right? So let's make this Boolean, right? Authorize is a Boolean, user.set message, right? So the user is logged in, and let us say authorize, let's say if authorize is correct, say return true. Authorize will return true, right? Or let us say authorize is not doing this. Let us say what authorize is doing. Authorize is of type string, right? So authorize is of type string here, and what we are going to do, user.set message, I will pass right, SUCCESS, success, and let us keep it void. Let's not change it. So we have not changed authorize, it was void, we have kept it void. Now we'll be using message. If everything goes fine, authorize, we are doing user.set message, success. Now we will handle this right here, success, right? And I'll go back to my login page, right, which is here, and I say ac.login user. That's absolutely fine, but I will say if user.get message dot equals success, and that's only going to happen when everything goes fine, smooth, and you're able to log in. I will say session dot set attribute. Let's call the as OUTHENTICSESSI. So the name of the session is authentic underscore session. So we name the session. It's, as I said, session is a key and a value pair, right? So I will pass the value user dot get user name. Now what is inside the session? User name, right? And similarly, what I'll do right here, let us try first this one. All right, let us try this one. Okay, and I will say now user dot set message, right? User, or we can say user dot get username plus concatenate, right? User dot get username is logged in, or it's logged in, has logged in or is logged in, whatever you say. Now let's try. All right, let's say if I type Fahim and I type some wrong password, incorrect. If I type right password, see the state of the page is maintained here. Okay, if I type some right password, Fahim is logged in, right? So now if I refresh it, and let's say I go to some other page now, which is let me create this page here. So let's create one more page and call this page as welcome, right? So we have this page now, welcome.jsp, and let's call the title here, or let us do one thing here. So let's go and open scriptlets. I repeat, I'm opening scriptlets. I will say string username is equivalent to request dot get, okay, not request, so let us say session dot get attribute, and the name of the session is authentic session, right? So this part is done. Incompatible type object cannot be converted to string, or we can say dot to string, right? So we have explicitly converted it to string. Now username has the username, right? And now let us say welcome, and we will open what please tell me what expressions, exactly. So now we'll open expressions, welcome, and we give a bit of space and username, and here also I'll say welcome and open what expressions, yeah, and say username. Sorry, I'm just having cough. Okay, and now username, welcome username to our website. Okay, that this is going to do, this will do, no problem. WEBSITE website, so it's grammar check, so you need not to worry about web and site are two different things. Yeah, maybe, who knows. So let's keep it like this. Okay, now let's say refresh. I'll give the right username and the right password. Fahim is logged in. Now let us go to welcome.jsp. Welcome Fahim to our website. Now you can clearly see this. Okay, let me minimize it. Welcome Fahim to our website, and the state is remembered. A round trip, the state is remembered. Now if I reload, it takes a round trip and session is remembered. Now for example, now what will happen if the response header, if the request headers that go to server, they do not carry session, I'll delete it from the temporary directory, and now see what happens. We are going to get an exception. We can still find a way for stopping this exception. What we can do right here, string username is equivalent to blank, and we will say this is going to cause an exception. You do one thing, all right, you do one thing, check if session dot get attribute authentic session is not equivalent to null, right? So it's going to be null. When it's going to be null? It is going to be null when the login does not happen. As simple as anything. Now when the login has happened, it's not going to be null, and you are going to print this. This is just to stop the null pointer exception, because null pointer exception will come because you are taking out session, converting it to session, and dropping to username, and there is nothing in the session if the login is not happened. That is going to create a bit of problem for we guys. And this code is only to stop exception, which you will see it's being stopped. Welcome no one to our website because there's nothing, session has nothing. You're just printing blank. You can say anonymous. All right, you can say, or we can say untitled. All right. So untitled basically is just to give you, or we can type. All right, anything, whatever you write. So untitled is good. So maybe let's see now, what are we getting? We are getting welcome untitled to our website, right? Why is it happening? Because the session is not created, right? And when the session is not created, so let us say untitled, I don't like it. Let's type anonymous. So anonymous is whatever you want to type, you can type. So anonymous for me is much better. I don't know who has whipped it. Anonymously someone has whipped it. Welcome anonymous to our website. So that's good. But now what happens if I log in? I log in, password, right? Now if I go back, why don't I create something automatic, right? Let's do this. Let's say I go to welcome.jsp, we still get welcome anonymous to our website. Why? Because string username is equal to anonymous. If session.getAttribute is not equivalent to null, okay, you're not passing anything to username, I will say username is equivalent to then session.getAttribute authentic.username. Let's see this. Welcome Fahim to our website. Let me delete session. Round trip is not going to take session ID. Now if I delete the session ID here from the temporary directory of my browser, now when the round trip happens, I request back, nothing is going to be taken. A blank session ID is going to be taken, and it will not match the session as that of the server, and we will not get the value. Welcome anonymous to our website. Even though the session is created, but it's not going to match. Again, if you say it's not going to match unless you go to unless you go to login.jsp and start typing your credentials and login. Fahim is logged in, and I go back to welcome.jsp, and you can see welcome Fahim to our website. So let's create an operation or automatic system where we redirect user automatically. I'll say response.send redirect, right, to welcome.jsp. Right, not only you start, no, not here, what am I doing wrong? Go to login.jsp, right? After you call the login, when is user.get username, and when is that message going to have success? The message is going to have success when you call the authorize function. When are you calling the authorize? When authentic is returning true and is valid is returning true. That we have already understood, and we have practiced that as well. Now if it is success when authorize is called, you are starting a session, and you are even saying, let me get rid of this user.set message, we don't require it. Let me type response.send redirect. Now you have started the session. What response do you want to give back to user? Because if you are requesting, I have to give response back, right? For example, if I request for something that does not exist, right? So I'm getting a response. This is a request and this is a response. The site cannot be reached. What is this? This is a response. I need to get response so that I know what is happening. So now what response are you going to give user back? You say, okay, I am going to give back a response, and in response I'm going to redirect the user back to welcome page. Now let's go and do it from the beginning. Please write your username. I write my username. See, the session is maintained, the state is maintained. Please write your password. If I write wrong password, incorrect username and password, and if I write the right password, so I now need to be redirected. A session will be started, and I will be redirected back to welcome, and you can see welcome Fahim to our website. This is how we maintain the state of a page, by using either input type hidden, or you can say hidden types, by using get parameters that we have not seen, but sessions, yeah, we have seen that, and we have completely understood it. And let me see the timings. We still have a good amount of time left, so we will try and utilize the time up to the extent possible under us, and deliver you guys what you are worth for. Right, so let me explain it here. Let me explain the code, and I will now say, and I'll write a basic, I'll write it down here, basic authorization module, alright, with sessions and redirect, right? Response is being redirected, means change the page, go from one page to another page, and what else can I say? Okay, and this is going to be basic authorization with session and redirect. I will document it here. Please remember, this is not professional, hard-coded, right? Non-oops module, right? So it's going to be hard-coded, and it will not have anything related to object-oriented approach, but still, to understand, we'll have to start with this. Alright, so now you can see changes required. What are the changes required? I'll go fast. And the changes that are required are, number one, go to accounts controller. Alright, and we have this message right here in the accounts controller. We have this authorize function, which is quite good, not bad, right? And what we have to do here, right, set message, alright, and then after the message is being set, I will go to login.jsp, alright, and after I go to login.jsp, sorry, well, I do here, I will integrate. Okay, now what I do here is, right, this is here the relationship between the message here and the message, right? So only if this returns success, right, will you be able to check success, right? Start the session and redirect the user back to the login page, right? So now what I require you to do, so I'll write it down here, right? Handle all three operations inside the authorize function, and doing all the homework is a non-conformity. Not doing is not going to be accepted, right? So you have to do it, homework, and you have to submit this homework before maybe in 10-12 hours you can do that. Handle all three operations inside the authorize function. Number one, session start. Number two, redirect. Number three, all three operations that we have to handle, empty the message, because message already has something. You'll have to first empty the message string, session start, and session start is quite good, session.set parameter, we know that, and empty the session. Also stop unauthorized access to welcome page. So this is your homework. What you have to do, these three things, which are quite easy, may not take more than 10 minutes, and 10 more minutes, so it is worth it. So a homework of maybe 30 minutes is worth delivering a 40-50 minutes lecture, right? I repeat, please and please, you have to encourage your teachers. You have to tell them that you're working very hard and you're watching all the lectures, And please do not discourage them, because of, we guys are working very hard for you guys, and I know you are champs and you are also working very hard. But complete your homework and don't make us cry for your for this. Please and please complete, and it encourages us. You can even leave your answer down in the comment section so that we understand what you have to do. I'll explain it again. And now what you are doing here, it's hard coded. I don't want to do it here. Nothing can be done here. I'll delete it here. I don't want anything here. Only call the login function. Login calls the authorize. Now authorize should take response.redirect, and authorize should take, you should be able to do both the things here, right? What you will do, you will session.set attribute will happen in the authorize function, and response.redirect, send redirect will happen in the authorize function, right? Not here. So here it is going to be as it is, as it was beforehand, or before we started this lecture. And the second thing that we have to do, that even if you can see now the session is started, I am visiting the home page, welcome Fahim. Now what if the session is deleted? I'll go to inspect element, application, cookies, and I delete this cookie right here. And what if the session is deleted? I can still visit. Do you visit your Gmail inbox without logging in? No, it throws you back. So I do not want anonymous access to this page. Please stop anonymous and unauthorized access to this page. Only the one who is logged in should be able to go and visit the page, and those who are not able to log in should be left or thrown back to login page, which is authorization control. That's what I have written. Stop unauthorized access to welcome page. So I hope you have understood, right? You all have understood. And let me know if there is any question. Write down in the comment section, and you can even message me, PM me if you're having any problem. But doing the homework will be a non-conformity to continue with all the classes, and tomorrow's class inshallah will be much better, and each and every day we will be progressing ahead rather than moving back or going backwards, which we cannot afford. We'll be going forward with all the enthusiasm and all the passion that we have. And I am not bothering you, or I'm not putting too much of load on you, right? So that I know that you guys have limited time, and that's why I give you little things, right, to practice at. And my videos are short, they're not extended. I don't even extend it. I try and go pretty slow. If you think I'm going fast, please let me know. Don't let me know I'm going slow. I know I'm going very slow. That's beneficial for you guys. But as we progress and go ahead with concurrent classes, I should try and hit the accelerator button. But before I increase the throttle input, so I require the throttle from you as well. Wish you all the best. Bye bye. Take care.